But the Table Mountain pine is fire dependent. Means it has to have fire in order for its life cycle to continue. It lives only about 70 years, and that's also about the frequency of catastrophic fires that burn this mountain over. The fire actually opens the cones and allows the seeds to fall into the soil, which has just been burned over and thereby fertilized, and then germinate and start a new tree. We plan to bring some young trees in and plant them in this community and get the species going again up here. Although it seems to be doing. Although this summer we've had a fairly bad 3 or 4 months of drought, so we're waiting until we start seeing some more rain. Well, let's go on up the trail. Remsen's done some incredible work here to stop erosion. Built some really nice barrier walls and steps. These, of course, were the old steps from years ago. Many different species of wildflowers that bloom all throughout the spring, summer, and fall. These, I believe, are some type of aster. The boardwalk system up here is very extensive. It's been constructed in order to slow and hopefully halt the process of erosion that the old trail system created. Because of so many people walking and compacting the soil, it was causing a lot of runoff, which caused, of course, erosion. So therefore the park decided to construct an elaborate system of boardwalks. Some areas they've left natural, where there's a lot of rock to hold the trail in place. Well, this is thought to be the highest point on the trail by some folks. Possibly just about 40 or 50 feet higher than Exclamation Point. But does it really matter? Isn't that beautiful? I'm up above Nature's Shower Bath, which normally would have water running down this rock. This is the small spring, which is now dried up because of the drought, that would have fed Nature's Shower Bath down below. Normally there'd be water running right down this rock, trickling through cracks in the rock. It makes a really pleasant sound. And then down the far left of the screen, water would run right off the cliff and drop a couple 100 feet before hitting the trail and soaking whoever passes by. And if you stand long enough, you would get a bath, or a shower bath. Right next to Nature's Shower Bath is an overlook named Peregrine's Rest. named after the bird which used to frequent these cliffs in many numbers, but now, because of man's thoughtless poisoning of the environment with agents such as DDT, we have resorted to having to reintroduce the peregrine into this area with limited success. Close observation of the cliff will reveal Hickory Nut Falls, what little there is of it due to the drought once again. The highest mountain with the antenna on top is Little Pisgah, or as the Cherokee called it, Conestoga. I prefer Conestoga, since it was named Conestoga for much longer than Little Pisgah. And since the Cherokee were here much longer than we have been, it should be called Conestoga. And the mountain in the center of the screen is Shumont. Right along the trail, growing on a rock, is a very insignificant little lichen called rock gnome lichen. It's a very interesting plant because it is endangered. It's very hard to find anymore in the mountains here, and part of that is because of air pollution and acid rain and such. This lichen has been discovered to be an indicator of air quality. If the patch gets bigger and grows and is as prolific, then it seems that the air in the area is cleaner. It's a good indicator. But up in the Smokies, where the patches of rock gnome lichen are becoming smaller, it's indicating, of course, that pollution from the Ohio Valley is blowing in and causing a mess. Growing right beside and right on the rock is sphagnum moss, more commonly associated with bogs and damp areas. You might wonder why it's growing here on this dry rock. Well, typically, for most of the year, this rock is very wet. There's a little seep that seeps out of the ground right above here in the rhododendrons and keeps this very damp. But again, because of the drought, everything's nice and dry. There are two different rock types here in the gorge. One being Henderson Ogden Gneiss, which is the rock that the chimney is made out of. The other being amphibolite, which is what we're looking at right now. Interesting thing about this area is this formation. Geologists call this a drag fold, and you can really see how the rock has been bent and folded at some point in the very, very distant past, when it was still warm and plasticky like Play-Doh. It was bent and then cooled and solidified into this shape, this drag fold. Let's go on down the trail.